Welcome back to the Basketball Operations Podcast. This is our second episode. We are...
Welcome back, guys.
Yeah, we're back.
Thank you for everyone who listened to the first episode. Very surprised how many people actually listen. Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. And thanks to all our friends also who are helping us get there to where we want to go, because we actually do feel like this has a opportunity to become
good potential,
something big.
I think.
Yeah, there's really good potential. I mean,
we're 2 years away from being 2 years away.
Well, I mean, we got 25 views now on YouTube. We got, I think, 8 subscribers. We got a couple of streams here and there on Spotify now, and we're getting there. And so, to recap on the podcast and where we are, if you follow our Twitter at bball_pod, you will find all our links for Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. And we'll also put more links because as we're submitting this to other podcast distributors, we're going to get the links back. We'll claim our podcast, and then you guys will click on them, listen to them, help us out across all platforms. Regarding our YouTube, please make sure to subscribe. That's how we know that you guys want more content. And like the videos, whether you guys like the episode or not, that'll really help us out. Leave a comment on whether we should come up with a new intro, what topics you guys want us to cover. We're open for suggestions. At this point, we're like a baby bird trying to, grab some food to like help us out and create something big here. And then also, we are getting very close to a logo. Yeah. So Maz, I forgot to tell you that one of my friends from college, he actually did help us out. So he's helping us out right now. So he's creating that. We should get that by a week.
What's his name?
Logan.
Thank you, Logan. Appreciate that.
Logan, I really appreciate it. So we're getting that logo. You guys are going to see it as our new thumbnail, as a new cover art, and it's going to be great. And then, last but not least, Miles, I have a big surprise for you. We got our very first sponsor.
Let's go, guys.
We got our very first sponsor.
Let's go.
I checked our Anchor dashboard, and I saw a little money sign. I got a little happy. I saw green. And I was like, oh, my God, what is this? So I checked. And it said that...
Is it Dippin' Dots?
Is it Dippin' Dots? And it said that Anchor is going to sponsor us, which is where we distributed our podcast. And so for that, we'd like to give a very special thank you. So we're going to hand it off to me and you from 5 minutes ago. And we're going to thank them for a quick ad. And then we're going to come back. Thank you, Nathan and Miles, from 5 minutes ago. That was great. So today's topics, we're going to talk about the marketing of the NBA and whether they're doing a good job on that or not, and just whether fans of the NBA are starting to become casuals.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't like.
Too spoiled, man.
We don't like casuals here.
Yeah.
We don't like casuals here in the Basketball Operations Podcast. Future of the NBA in marketing and the casual fans of the NBA. So, if most of you don't know, but the last 8 teams in the NBA right now have not won a championship.
Since 1983. Which was the Sixers.
Yeah, 3 decades ago. Almost 3 decades ago.
So currently there's 3 teams left that have won a title, and the remaining 5 have never won a title in franchise history.
Uh-huh.
Which, there's going to be a happy fan base, I'll tell you that.
There is. And there is a lot of history, especially with all these teams, and I'm going to leave it till the end to see whether you guys, the listeners, are able to figure out a pattern with all these, because I figured out the pattern, whether all these last, 8 teams?
Yeah.
Have done to get where they are now. So like Miles said, the last team was the Sixers in 1983. The Bucks was in 1971. The Hawks was in 1958.
Bob Pettit.
Bob Pettit. and then the Bucks was Kareem and Big O.
Yeah.
And then the other teams.
Lakers B team never won.
Lakers B team. Utah, Phoenix, Denver, and Brooklyn have never won a championship. Which
that's exciting.
That's exciting.
There was a couple tweets I saw on Twitter. People were upset that the Lakers were out, that the Warriors didn't make it, saying, "Oh, this year's finals is going to be boring." But I'm looking at it like if the Nets weren't in this playoffs, the championship would be like wide open, up for grabs, and there'd be some good matchups. But
it would be because look at what Atlanta did, right? For Game 1, they went into Philadelphia and took Game 1 from them.
Took one from them, Trae Young.
They punched Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons in the mouth, and like they know where they're coming from. And now in Game 3, they're back in the A, where Trae Young loves, and the crowd's gonna be rocking like last time.
We'll see what happens.
And we'll see what happens because I think in the first game, they were hitting their threes. The second game, they weren't really hitting their threes. That's why they lost. So if they start hitting their threes and Trae Young becomes Oklahoma Trae Young, which obviously we've seen in the Knicks series that he can go off, then they're taking that series. So I have a little bit of a history lesson for you, Miles. So we're talking about their opponent, the Sixers, right? Last time they won was 1983. So it has been a very long time, even since they've been in the finals. The last time they've been in the finals was 2001, which is when AI took that horrible team on his back and only took one game from Kobe and Shaq, right?
I think we're barely being born.
Yeah. I wasn't even born.
I don't think I was born yet either.
I wasn't even born.
01?
Yeah, 01.
I might have been born.
You probably were born.
No. June? No, I wasn't born yet.
Oh yeah, So yeah, we weren't even born.
Yeah.
When AI was taking this team on his back, going against Kobe and Shaq, one of the greatest duos of all time. And that was last time they were in the finals, which was, again, 20 years ago. And ever since then, for the last 20 years, in the mid-2000s, they have been like a middle-of-the-pack team. They were finishing like at 500, a couple games below 500, above 500, blah, 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 blah. And then, sometimes missing playoffs, sometimes making playoffs. And then, so they picked up, we're just going to go through like all the big signings and stuff like that, or like drafting people and like where they are now. So like they picked up Elton Brand. Elton Brand is their
GM, player operations.
Yeah, which is, so he's a good friend of ours because we're Basketball Operations Podcast. And he's
Elton, I need an internship.
Yeah, he's president of Basketball Operations. So, and then they drafted Drew Holiday. Right, as we all know, they drafted Andre Iguodala, which obviously won a couple of championships with the Warriors. And then I think you remember watching those teams. I remember watching
they
Drew Holiday
were
teams.
always like a bottom of the pack seed, like 7-8 seed.
Yeah, 7-8
they always
seed.
had to play like LeBron in the Celtics first round,
or
Derrick Rose.
Yeah, Derrick Rose, and then I would watch him and be like, oh, this is like, I don't know why, but for some reason, whenever there was a playoff series that had the Sixers as them as the 8th seed, it was always in my head. I was like, they're getting swept, or
they're 5,
yeah. And like the court, I don't know what it is, but the atmosphere just made it seem like grimy. I don't know.
They were just like in an awkward place. Like they were good enough to make the playoffs, but they weren't good enough to go deep, and that's when you saw the trust the process era start.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, let's just tear it down and start from the bottom. And now look at them; they might be going to the conference finals.
Yeah, I mean, they can get past obviously Trae Young and the Hawks, which I don't know. I thought it was going to be a suit.
I think they could.
Do you think the Hawks could?
I still think the Sixers are going to get them in 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Because if Joel Embiid can stay healthy, then that's all that matters. But so then after all that, then that's when Philadelphia stopped being a 7-8 seed and started being a 14-15, getting lottery picks, which obviously helped them in the coming years. So 2010, 2015, they had about 4 straight losing seasons before drafting, obviously, Embiid, Simmons, Fultz, they acquired Robert Covington, which helped them. I think it was in 2018. I think Robert Covington helped them, or 2017.
2017.
Somewhere around there.
2016, 2017.
And then obviously T.J. McConnell. You remember T.J. McConnell?
Yeah.
Remember that?
They have a lot of guys who were on their team when they were tanking that are pretty good now.
Yeah, they're pretty good now. They're
Rashawn Holmes.
Yeah.
McConnell.
Yeah.
Covington.
Remember that T.J. McConnell game-winning shot when he did the Michael Jordan like I saw so many edits. I still remember. I saw so many edits of him side by side, Michael Jordan doing the fist pump, throwing the fist after hitting that shot.
I hate Twitter.
NBA Twitter, and I don't know NBA Twitter. I think the worst is NBA Instagram and NBA.
Oh, yeah, NBA Instagram's horrible.
and NBA TikTok. NBA TikTok has now gotten like ridiculous with the edits.
Yeah.
Like just right now, before we started, I watched this TikTok. I forgot I sent it to you. That it was this video, this weird edit of Dirk Nowitzki, right? And it was just like this, like Dirk Nowitzki fan, Dirk Nowitzki sexual, right?
Don't say that.
Where his number is 41, right?
Yeah.
And you know how KG had two numbers, 21 and 5?
Yeah.
So then it literally said, math taught me 41 is greater than 21 plus 5. And then it was like Dirk and whatever, like weird edits.
So
and then it
saying
said
the numbers, because Dirk's number's greater.
Yeah.
Well,
and
he is the better player.
I know, but this is funny because it goes, the math taught me that 41 is better than 21 plus 5. And then it said, basketball proved it. And I'm like, what the heck did I just freaking watch? And it's just like Dirk screaming.
That's
and like
smart.
KG, like.
I want to shake that guy's hand.
Like, what?
I want to shake her hand.
And then the other one that one of our friends put in our group chat, the LeBron one, where he went down with the eye. And then it was like Terminator, and then it was like a lockdown.
I had to take a mental health break after I saw that one. Yeah, that was bad.
That was horrible.
With the 3 rims, Target acquired. Like, come on, man.
It said Terminator on the back of his jersey. Anyway, so, and then obviously, back to the Sixers, and then, they obviously acquired J.J. Redick, which did help them. When Kawhi unfortunately made that ridiculous 3 bounce shot from the corner. So they had made the pretty far, second round.
Yeah, great team, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Tobias, Redick.
Yeah, and then the next year they brought obviously Jimmy Butler in a trade, and then they got Tobias Harris in a free agent signing.
And then Tobias was traded too.
No, Tobias signed as a free agent.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I checked on Basketball Reference. His transaction said he signed as a free agent.
Oh, okay. I thought I was thinking about the Gallinari trade and stuff like that.
Nah. I thought he got traded too.
I thought he did too.
But he signed as a free agent, and then because his contract expired with the Clippers. And then obviously the bubble was really weird. It was literally just Josh Richardson and Shake Milton. And they got swept by the Celtics. I went on Basketball Reference. I go to the bubble season, and I'm like, what the heck happened here? I just completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
And I forgot they got swept by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And so, obviously, this year, now they have a chance to go to the conference finals. But if you look at, what got them here, it was just 15 years of middle of the pack
In purgatory.
and then hell of just horrible seasons. Obviously we can't forget the 10-72 season where Nerlens Noel was probably their best player.
Mavs legend.
I forgot he played for the Mavs. And then that 10-72 season helped them grab all these lottery picks. Obviously Joel and Ben, Markelle, which Markelle, prayers up to Markelle. He was actually doing well in Orlando before he got hurt. And then, so now they're in, a potential conference final. So, and it's not even, because they had so many bad players, right? They had so many expiring contracts. So then that led them to get, and then good player development, because like I feel like all these players would not be where they are if it wasn't for good player development.
That helps with the expirings, because if you develop a good guy on their rookie contract and you have all those expirings, you're able to make those free agent signings right away.
Right, because of the cap space opens
and
up.
it's easier to build a team off of that.
Yeah, and so keep that in mind. And so, I mean, in the last 10 years, their biggest trade was Jimmy Butler, which only had been for... How long was Jimmy Butler there? 2 years? A year?
Tobias Harris was traded.
He was traded?
Yeah, it was... they traded Boban. They traded Shaman and picks for him and Boban.
Huh.
Yeah. I think then he signed that off season.
Oh, that's probably what it is. So I got the date wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, I got the year wrong. So... Okay, so yeah, trade. Okay,
and then he signed in the offseason.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so that's where I got confused. Yeah. So Jimmy Butler was the biggest trade in the last 10 years. Like, I mean, Jimmy Butler. Obviously, we've seen him go in the finals in the bubble and whatnot, and like, it's not like he was a horrible player before that. But like, Jimmy Butler was their biggest trade in the last 10 years, and Tobias Harris was, I guess, technically their last big free agent signing technically in the last 10 years, like, because he was already expiring. They might have already picked him up, and that, like, it's Tobias Harris. Like,
I like him.
He was nice, but like, you know, Tobias Harris was always under the radar. People would always ask themselves whether he was like,
if he was J. Cole.
If he's J. Cole, if he's like, is he an all-star? Sometimes there are years where he is. Sometimes there are years where he's not. He's underrated. He's overrated. So, like, it's, you know, Tobias Harris, like, was one of those players that, like, maybe you heard of him.
He's just solid who fits with their team. Like,
right, he's solid.
Like, because, you know, Simmons isn't really good on offense, so they brought him in to kind of be that second scorer next to Embiid.
Yeah, it's just solid players.
Yeah.
That they grab.
That's where Brand is smart. Like, he realized Ben Simmons isn't gonna help them on offense.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's bring in Tobias, give us 20, play some defense.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Just let Ben facilitate.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Ben Simmons. I really do feel like Ben Simmons needs to get a jump shot, because like, I feel like I said this earlier, and not earlier, but like last night. I said to myself, okay, Ben Simmons is for sure a great defensive player, but name me something else the dude does besides make basic reads. I might get heat for this, but what does Ben Simmons do besides make basic reads off a fast break? Or, because like, I feel like I look at him and I'm like, I haven't seen him make a pass where I'd be like, oh my god, I've never seen this pass before. Like, you get passes like Luka and LeBron throwing crazy cross-court passes, but the dude is either a handoff or a post feed to Embiid. And like, so like, tell me, I'm asking you, like, I don't know what Ben Simmons does besides on defensive end.
I just see him on the dunker spot a lot.
Right? I mean, you're 6'10".
Yeah, I mean, if he got into the pick and roll more, I mean, he has that 6'10" height.
As the roller.
You don't think he could be the initiator?
He could, but I feel like as the roller, where Seth Curry is the ball handler, because that's the reason they got him. He's another ball handler, right?
Yeah.
Like, you saw it in the Mavs. And then you have Ben Simmons, you know, on the pick or the roller. And, like, I feel like that'll be maybe an easier offense.
It's just, Ben Simmons frustrates me. Like, he has all these tools to be, like, generational. Like, he's a great defender.
I don't know.
But it's just the other parts of his game, man.
Yeah. And I saw something that apparently he did have a jump shot back in high school. But it's just gone because I guess they didn't really need it. So maybe
they could have had a couple titles by now if he actually expanded his game.
Yeah, maybe
outside the paint.
Yeah, maybe the training staff was like, you don't need one. Just, we have Joel, we have Tobias, we have Seth, we have Danny. Like, you don't need a jump shot, I guess.
Just imagine if they added that.
Yeah. So
they're already Tobias, Danny Green, Curry.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't even need to be crazy percentage-wise either. Like, it just has to be, like, if you can hit 25.
Not even just a jumper, just like a post game.
Yeah.
Or something.
Like if you even go, like, let's say 25% from three. Like, Giannis is at, I think, what, 30-something? I think, Giannis, 30-something from three, maybe?
He is 30-something. He is 30%.
Yeah, 30% flat. That's horrible, but I mean, it's something. At least
it's trying.
Yeah, but it's something. Like, you could see, like,
he realizes that in order for the Bucks to be competitive and do something, He needs to at least try it.
Yeah, and you can see the steady improvement. Like I think he was shooting like worse, like 20 in his rookie year.
Nah, he's actually pretty good his rookie year, and then it just kept going down and down.
Really?
Yeah, when they changed the jump shot.
Oh god damn. That's the thing. I don't know why they ever changed the jump shot.
You want to go to the Bucks?
Yeah. So now that we're on the Giannis, we go to the Bucks. So the Bucks last time went to the championship was 1971, right? And that's when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and freaking Oscar Robertson was on the team, averaging triple doubles for the season. So obviously in the modern era, they have been missing the playoffs as well, getting bounced first round. Like I was looking at Basketball Reference on their summary seasons, and it was literally just first round. Didn't make the playoffs for a couple of years. First round. And then obviously you get like the here and there, like stars like Ray Allen, Michael Redd, Brandon Jennings. Remember the Brandon Jennings era?
Andrew Bogut.
Andrew Bogut was their best player.
Remember
at one point.
Larry Sanders.
Yeah,
they were just like the Bucks, you know. Yeah. They were getting outed in the first round.
Larry Sanders and O.J. Mayo.
That's pretty good.
O.J. Mayo. Yeah. O.J. Mayo, he apparently can come back. His 2-year suspension is over. Stay off the weed.
Nah, he should be able to come back.
He should be able to come back, though. He was nice. And then, Andrew Bogut was their best player at one point. And, I mean, when you have... he was the first overall pick, and, like, he was okay. He set a record for blocks or something in his rookie year.
Just when he broke his arm, man.
Yeah, freaking broke his arm. And then got traded to the Warriors, and then helped them win a chip eventually anyway.
Yeah, he got traded to the Warriors.
Yeah, so, when you have Andrew Bogut as your best player, like, you're...
Bogut was a double-double.
Yeah, a double-double machine, but, like, he still was, that's not a recipe for success if Andrew Bogut's your best player. But obviously it wasn't until 2013 when they drafted Giannis, and then they ended up picking up Chris Middleton from the Pistons, who was freaking nobody. Yeah, nobody knew Chris. He was a G League.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
He played for the 2K team.
The Rapids, the Grand Rapids.
No, it was the Mad Ants, wasn't it?
Oh, Mad Ants.
Mad Ants or something. It was some G League team. I think it was Mad Ants. You could double check for me, but I think it's Mad Ants. And got called up by the Pistons, and then got traded to the Bucks for Brandon Jennings. That's kind of ironic.
Right.
For Brandon Jennings. And then player development, obviously, Giannis and Chris Middleton ended up being who they are now.
He played for the Fort Wayne Mad Ants.
Fort Wayne Mad Ants, thank you, because that's where you go play on 2K, the newest one. And then, so obviously this is one of those franchises where, like, they made the right move drafting a once-in-a-generation player in Giannis, grabbing little free agents here and there that helped the team. But like in the whole span of things, like they didn't really matter. Like it, like you saw it on a Woj bomb, and you're like, oh okay, like it's not much. And then so then like this is one of those franchises like you have to give it up to the player development. Like I'm a big player development thing. Like I feel like none of these players would be who they are.
Look what they turned Giannis into.
Yeah, if like player development wasn't a huge deal.
I don't know if Giannis got drafted somewhere else that he would be what he is.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of Mavs fans are mad that we took Shane Larkin before him, but who knows if he would have turned out to be what he is.
Yeah. Like, obviously now, as a Mavs fan, you would like to dream of Giannis and Luka together.
Because you see what he is now, but you got to think, like, there's a lot of things that could have gone different. Like, they probably wouldn't have played him as much or, be patient with him.
Yeah, and there was a long time before Luka, so, like...
Yeah. And if he did turn out good, we would have Luka.
Yeah, so, things turn out the way they do. Because, like, again, like, you get to see these players grow and then develop into superstars. And then, like, it just doesn't make any sense, like, to go back to the whole thing of, like, they want to see these superstars and stuff like that. But then at the same time, like, people look at it like, oh, if I see a Utah-Milwaukee finals, like, I'm not watching just because Milwaukee is not, sexy.
To be honest, I enjoy that more. I enjoy seeing the team, like, grow their guys into superstars and then they win a ring on that team. I just feel like that just is better than going out and just getting free agents to come over because you're in a big city next to a beach.
Yeah, and I mean, sure, I understand that, like, okay, like, the best players usually aren't a quote-unquote big market team.
Yeah.
But, like, at the same time, when you finally get this era, because I feel like this will probably never happen again, where the Heat, Lakers, and Celtics, or the Spurs are not in the last 8 of the playoffs. And so then you have these teams that, like, are fighting, because then that's where I feel like real basketball comes in, where, like, you make adjustments midway, then you have these players that are growing, and you see them, like, I mean, Donovan Mitchell just dropped 45, and you got to see him going against Kawhi and Paul George, who literally just came there, got together, and was like, let's come to LA, and, like, we'll try to win a chip. And then it's just, like, it's the hunger part of basketball, where, like, you have to be a real basketball fan to understand, like, or have played basketball in meaningful games, where you have to be like, I'm hungry, like, I want this championship because it means something to me and it means something to, like, the legacy.
Yeah, like, I feel like from, like, a legacy standpoint, or, like, just looking back, like, if Giannis and Middleton ever win a ring, if they were figured out, like, how cool is that story gonna be? Like, Giannis, number 13 overall, from, like, the second division of Greece.
Yeah.
And then you pair him with a guy who was just thrown away by the Pistons,
Mm-hmm.
and then they grow their games together, and then they win. Like, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and like, if Giannis stays, Giannis is gonna be like when people think of Milwaukee, they're gonna think of Giannis, just like they thought of Kareem, which is.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. His jersey's gonna be up in the Raptors.
Yeah.
They're gonna think about he's gonna be in the conversation like Dirk with Dallas, and like it's just like at that point it's just when you think of a player, like you automatically think of the team, or when you get
like Lakers, Kobe.
Mm-hmm. It's just
Wade.
More of a legacy. Yeah, it's literally just legacy standpoint and like what it exactly it means just for like the franchise. Because like even after, let's say Giannis doesn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
He already signed this max contract until 2023 or 2024?
Yeah,
somewhere around there. Like, there begs the question, because a lot of people want him to leave.
Yeah.
Because they understand that, like,
myself included.
Yeah, that like they don't want him to be a part of Milwaukee, because like Milwaukee, like what the heck is Milwaukee?
Yeah. They want him to pair up with another guy.
Yeah, because like sure I get there are people who actually do feel like, okay, there's the basketball standpoint of like he does need, because he needs to be off the ball, he needs to be in the dunker spot. That I understand. But then when you're just trying to get him you're just photoshopping him in a freaking Lakers jersey, like that doesn't mean anything. Like Lakers don't even have cap space to grab all these players that they want. But yeah, that doesn't stop him, because like it's LA, that's what it is, or like it's Miami. Like there have been so many people who be like, like, oh, these players would go great in Heat culture and blah blah blah. Like, I mean, sure, okay, but like from a basketball standpoint, like I feel like they're actually trying to grow something over there that like I'm not just gonna grab crazy offseason signings.
Yeah, going into my soccer, the way I wanted to bring soccer into this. Do you remember when Leicester City won?
Oh yeah,
2016.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people still think of that title, and I kind of hold it at a higher value than, like, say, a Man City, who just buy all their guys because they have all this money. Leicester City, homegrown talent, guys you've never heard of, come together, growing their games, winning the league, not even being considered, like, a top 10 team. Like, people will never forget that run.
Yeah, that was legendary. I still remember the I think my dad woke me up freaking early.
Yeah. To
go watch the last game where they could win it, and they ended up winning it. Obviously, like presented the trophy and all that stuff.
Yeah, like that was just people will never forget that, and I think that goes hand in hand with this.
And that's perfect. And then so with the player development, obviously Giannis and Chris Middleton, and then they signed Brook Lopez in the offseason. That was their biggest free agent signing in the last 10 years.
They drafted DiVincenzo.
Yeah, DiVincenzo. And then they traded for Drew Holiday. That was the biggest trade deal in the last 10 years.
They were close to getting, what was that, Bogdan?
That would have really helped.
Yeah.
That would have really helped in the span of things. I don't think about it.
It helped the Hawks.
It helped the Hawks, so that really helped. Like, it was botched. I don't know what... I still don't even know what happened.
Yeah.
I still don't even know what happened. He finessed them, I think, or something.
think it had something to do with like the CBA or something.
Yeah, I don't even know, but yeah. So obviously, the Brook Lopez and Drew Holiday literally happened in the last 3 years, right? When they were like, okay, Giannis is starting to peak. He just became an All-Star. He just won his first MVP. We need to surround him with guys, and then obviously now you got, they drafted Big Ragu, my guy Dante DiVincenzo. They drafted.
They even brought in like a guy like Brent Forbes.
Brent Forbes, who I knew.
Everyone on that team could shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They brought in PJ, which is a good defensive guy. Connaughton can shoot. They got like Bobby Portis was like a under the radar type pickup.
They just need to figure out what they're doing in the half court though.
Yeah, they don't have an half court offense. Half court offense. Budenholzer has to do something. I don't know. Yeah. And then so the Nuggets now. So the Nuggets have never won a championship ever. They made it to the Western Conference Finals once. That was with Carmelo, but obviously that Kobe was still around. So and whatever. So
they made it last year.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. They made it last year, Western Conference Finals. And then obviously the last time before the bubble was with Carmelo. And then, but again, like they drafted a lot of guys that are helping now. So like obviously they drafted Melo. They drafted Jokic. They drafted Jamal. They drafted Gary Harris, who helped them get Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
They
did they draft Will Barton?
Will Barton came from the Blazers or something.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then they drafted Michael Porter Jr., who everybody got slept on.
I think that's going to be the move that people look back on.
Yeah, and be like
he was going to be like consensus top 5, top 3, back, and then the Nuggets just take a risk on him, and he's lighting it up.
It's working now. Yeah. And then so this was actually kind of funny because I looked it up. I looked at an article. It was like, what's the biggest off season? Because honestly, I don't remember their biggest off season signing of okay, they had an expiring contract.
Monte Morris.
It's not Monte Morris. It's freaking J.R. Smith.
Oh yeah,
it's J.R. Smith.
What, 2009 something?
Yeah, somewhere around there. It was J.R. Smith. I looked up an article. I think it was a Bleacher Report article saying this was the biggest offseason signing that made sense, which was J.R. Smith. And for me, when I go through all these, just keep in mind that by biggest, I mean either made the biggest impact or was the most expensive contract.
Okay.
So obviously J.R. Smith
they just build through the draft.
Right? Yeah, it's just building through the draft and
small trades here and there that.
Yeah, and then obviously their biggest trade right now is Aaron Gordon. Yeah. So all these picks that helped where they are now and helped create a culture. Obviously you can't forget the last season, the Nuggets. Jamal Murray was going off for 50 bombs. Jokic was playing more like an MVP than he is now. You had Jeremy Grant, I still love Jeremy Grant.
Yeah,
and then you had...
Totally forgot they had him, and then he just wanted a bigger role.
Yeah, he just wanted... maybe. I don't know. The thing is, I feel like the dude will, after next season, I feel like dude's going to ask for a trade because there's no way you're going to stay in Detroit for that long.
But, you gotta talk about their developmental team.
They have to go. Whoever's in the...
No, Denver.
Oh. You
get Jokic, 41st.
41st.
In the middle of a talk about steak quesarito commercial.
You
get Jokic, you gotta talk about that developmental team because
they had worked with a lot of bigs before as well. Yeah. They obviously drafted Nurkic, but they saw more potential in Jokic, so they gave away Nurkic. So they had a good development to create good offensive bigs, right? But obviously none was better than Jokic.
I don't even think they saw this coming themselves.
That Jokic would be
playmaking 5.
Playmaking 5, can shoot the 3, can bring up the ball like a point guard, and lowest pick ever in the NBA to win MVP.
Yeah, I didn't think they saw that coming.
But it's working out, and then obviously Jamal Murray, he was a good guard for Kentucky, and he obviously could shoot the 3, and we've seen what his ceiling is, which is just going crazy from 3. And then obviously you have little pieces here and there that you didn't really obviously like Monte Morris. Then you have like little signings like JaMychal Green. I think JaMychal Green was signing. You love JaMychal Green.
I love JaMychal Green.
You love JaMychal Green. And then you got like you got a trade for Millsap as well.
I think he came in trade.
He came in a trade. And then you have like obviously that pickup of Campazzo was really great for them.
That was a big pick.
A big pickup. It kind of sucks because I feel like obviously it kind of ruins the depth with Jamal Murray out, and then obviously Will Barton out because I feel like the lineup should have been Murray, Barton, Porter, and then you have
either Millsap or
Millsap and Jokic. Who's the starting five?
Or Gordon, man.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon. Sorry. Aaron Gordon and Jokic. And then you have the depth where, like, now you pick up Austin Rivers. So then you have Campazzo, Rivers, and you have Morris that can go there.
Just sucks that Murray got hurt. Or else this series would have been a lot more competitive.
Yeah, I think it just ruined the depth with Murray. That would have
been a crazy three-headed monster at guard. They have Campazzo, Murray, and then Rivers. Who knows if they even pick up Rivers.
It probably not though, because like, because the only reason to pick up Rivers was for
would have been in the Lakers jersey probably.
Yeah, I mean Rivers was on his couch. Before they picked him up.
Like they like to remind us every time he checks into the game.
Yeah, freaking announcers. He was on his couch.
Greg,
2 months ago.
Austin Rivers was on his couch.
So yeah, man, like biggest offseason sign was J.R. Smith. Biggest trade was Aaron Gordon last 10 years, and then we go finally to the Jazz. Oh, not finally to the Jazz. Second last. Jazz never won a championship. Made it to the finals twice with Karl Malone and John Stockton as their duo, and so like obviously you have like, let me just tell you all these draft picks that the Jazz used because obviously nobody wants to play for Utah. Nobody wants to play for Utah. Gordon Hayward, Andrei Kirilenko, Paul Millsap, Darren Williams, Gobert, Ingles, Mitchell.
Yeah, mid-2000s, y'all were solid with Darren Williams and Boozer.
Yeah, they were. That was a good team. Like I sometimes remember, like I wasn't a Jazz fan yet, but I was. But I do remember that team. That team was pretty solid. That team looked fun. I need them to bring back those old baby blue jerseys
with the mountain in the background.
Yeah, it's like a baby blue something like that. And that court was really nice. But so again, all these drafting, all these picks like will really help them set the culture, and then like here and there because like obviously Utah, again, nobody wants to pay for freaking Utah. Yeah. So like all of them, they either built it from the draft or they built it from just freaking
these small trades that build up.
Yeah, small trades.
Hitting on draft picks like Mitchell, who's 14th overall.
13th. Lucky 13.
Gobert, second round guy.
Yeah.
Becomes a
three-time D-boy. Only four or five people have ever won it 3 times.
He needs to give that trophy to Miles Turner.
No, what? What? Not Miles Turner. Miles Turner didn't even play like that many games. But
what was your biggest free agent? Bogdan?
Bojan Bogdanovic.
Yeah, Bojan. I always get him in.
Which was literally 2 years ago.
And then it's safe to say your biggest trade
was Mike Conley.
Oh, I was gonna go Clarkson.
I had him.
Yeah.
I have Clarkson and Mike Conley together because I don't know if anybody knows this, and this has to be like, but because it's Utah, this is what I'm saying. But because it's Utah, it's under the radar.
Yeah.
Jordan Clarkson was traded
for Dante Exum. You know, it's funny. I have a funny story. When did you guys trade from the off season, or like middle of the season, right? Early season.
Yeah.
So I was working that day, and I was in the line at Chipotle.
Yeah.
At lunch break, and I see the Woj tweet.
I'm
like, oh, Clarkson for Dante. No biggie. No, look what happened.
Yeah.
Good job, Cleveland.
Freaking dude. I didn't think of it much either because I remember seeing him on the Lakers. I'm like, oh, this
cool.
dude looks.
All right, let me order my burrito.
And I'm like, this dude, like, I remember seeing him on the Lakers with Kobe, and like he was just young, like he was really raw.
Was like, yeah, the brother doesn't have it.
Yeah, and like he made it to the finals before, like he got carried, but like and like he provided, like I saw 3-point shooting and like
I think the Jazz really saw that. Hey, we could put this guy next to Ingles. And we could really light up other teams' second units.
Yeah, because that's exactly what happened. Because the thing is, with Joe Ingles, he's solid, and like,
because like your guys' starters are good, and then when teams rest their guys, you bring in that second unit, and it's just like it never stops. So
because like there was a, you know, like a sort of like a confidence thing with Clarkson, where like he didn't really like desired or wanted to be like the guy because of the players he was playing with, like Kobe and LeBron. So like obviously his like shine was never gonna get there. But like you could see like that now the dude like just splurges out confidence. Like he comes in there,
he's looking to shoot.
He comes in there cold, shooting from the hash mark.
He's looking at the basket, you know. And people hate like when they miss, like Tim Hardaway, guys like that who are streaky. But man, when they're on, they're on. They never miss.
When they're on, they're on. And like it also helped, like you know.
That's why when people say they hate a certain player because they're inconsistent, like, but that's just shooting, you know. Like,
yeah, it's just shooting. Like obviously, like there are some things like okay, you can go to the basket and then work your way out, but then there are just some players that work differently because like the thing is with Jordan Clarkson, like I don't know, I've been wanting this shirt. Have you seen the flamethrower shirt?
I haven't.
There's a flamethrower shirt. That's like him with like a big head, and it says flamethrower, and it's like him like holding fire.
I'm not on Utah.
It's a fire shirt. I've been wanting it, and like that's what the dude is. The dude is just a flamethrower. Like he obviously won 6th Man of the Year on one of the most one-sided trades I've ever seen. Because Dante Exum, I don't even think he's in the freaking league anymore.
Yeah.
Dante Exum in the league?
I think he might be rotting away in Cleveland.
Rotting away in Cleveland, or you're in Australia or something like that.
He's gonna be at the Olympics. Maybe.
So, one-sided trade ever. And then, obviously, you have all these great draft picks that you move around, and you get, like, even, like, I don't understand. Even that Mike...
Was Georges Niang undrafted?
Was Georges Niang undrafted? Let me check.
Because if he wasn't, I mean, that just shows you guys could bring in undrafted guys, too, and work them into your lineup, and they could provide for you.
Let's see, because... Drafted or undrafted? Let's see. It was in the 2016 draft when he decided to go to the draft. And, let me see. I don't even know. It's funny because I'm looking at this article, a lot of people have him undrafted or not first round. Well, Royce O'Neal was undrafted.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Royce O'Neal wasn't drafted. Royce O'Neal, he's all NBA. Do you put him all NBA first defensive team? All defensive first team?
I don't know. I got Simmons at one of the guard spots there.
Because I feel like Royce O'Neal
I have him and Mikal Bridges.
Him and Mikal Bridges. Oh,
Simmons,
yeah. The thing is with Royce, you know me, I love me some Royce. Because Royce is like, it's Royce and Dodo that really set the tone for 3&D guys.
Niang was a 50th overall pick.
Okay, so yeah, he was drafted 50th. Bring him in. You bring in an undrafted guy in Royce. He's starting, great perimeter defender.
He's shooting 42% from 3.
Yeah. Royce is shooting 40.
Yeah.
From 3, so it's just like good player development. It again, like this is the pattern of all these teams is draft picks, getting a lot of. The good thing is that with their GM is that they're really smart with money as well. Like Sean Marks, Brendan Elton, all these guys, they all have been smart with the money where they have gotten either getting guys on rookie contracts.
They don't get into cap hell.
Yeah, or getting rentals. Because the thing is with like Jay Crowder was part of the team once, and he was kind of a 1-year rental. Like he was there for I think 2.
Rent Crowder.
Yeah, the dude is a rental because the dude is like a good.
The Suns finally saw that like this guy can contribute. Let's give him a multi-year.
Yeah, like a good role player. Yeah. And Jay Crowder's only 30. Can you believe that? Yeah. I thought the dude was old.
Yeah, he's been around, but.
I thought the dude was old as hell. He's 30.
Yeah, it's because he's been in like 12 different jerseys
in
6 years.
I know. And like. So yeah, it's just bringing a lot of rentals, just making sure the money's right, so that way once you're rookie, like let's say obviously now with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, you can offer them the multi-year, so that way once then that attracts good pieces. Where like Bojan Bogdanovic, like he was with the Pacers before, nobody really saw anything. Like everybody saw that he was solid, so we picked him up, and obviously Jordan Clarkson, small slash big trade ever. And then Mike Conley, everyone said he was washed. I remember the talks. The dude's only I think 32 when he got traded, 33, and everyone was saying he was washed. I didn't understand it. I was like, it's a point guard. We need one.
Yeah.
And like I knew Jordan Clarkson was gonna be our point guard. He's not a starting guy. So Mike Conley, like
33.
Yeah, Mike Conley. He's 33 right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was 31, 32. Like what? That's still prime for most guys.
Look at Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Especially the way Mike Conley plays.
Yeah,
he doesn't really rely on like bounce or. He's gonna beat you with his shot.
Yeah. And then, like, obviously the first year it's a different system because obviously it was with the grit and grind. Yeah. And, like, it was a different system. It was a slower pace. It was getting Marc Gasol, getting Zebo, Tony Allen, and all this stuff. And then, like, it's a different system. So, obviously, yes, last year, like, even I saw that, like, the dude just didn't look comfortable. Like, even in regular seasons, and obviously we saw in the bubble, that he just didn't look comfortable because the way he had to go work around Donovan, and then like obviously Bojan went down, so like it was like another shooter that he it was just different offense that like he had to get around. So
lucky. I mean, if he comes back healthy, I don't see why Utah can't be in the finals.
Me either. And that's the thing that people are scared of. Going back to like the whole marketing thing, it's like that's the thing people are scared of. They don't want to see a Utah Milwaukee finals.
Like, I don't get it. I mean, I'd rather have the league be balanced.
Yeah, because I'm tired. Like
I'm tired. People were tired of seeing Golden State and Cleveland play 4 years in a row. Basically the finals for like a couple years was basically the Western Conference Finals. It's like let's spread it out a little bit,
Yeah, especially in the East, because like the East has been relatively weak for a long time.
Yeah.
And so now you have other teams like the Hawks coming in. Now you have like
New York.
Yeah, New York, who technically should be a big market team, but like since they're
Milwaukee.
Yeah, Milwaukee. That they were at the bottom of they're at the bottom of the freaking standings.
Even in the West, you got Denver.
Mhm. Like all these teams were like middle of the pack, and then now you have like you can name, especially in the West, like you can name 1 through 10 to be competitive because you never know.
Maybe
like
1 through 12.
1 through 12.
Depends.
Like you have like Timberwolves sometimes. Like maybe, but the Timberwolves sometimes
Kings almost sneaked in.
Yeah, Kings almost sneaked in. Timberwolves,
Kings are forever cursed.
The Timberwolves, I still question myself. Like, hey, maybe they can make a play in.
Looking at their roster, I think next year they might be fun if they don't trade Cat.
Yeah, maybe they
Cat, D'Lo, and Russell. They got a lot of like long wings.
Yeah, and then like obviously Ant-Man.
They should be nice.
I think they just have to move to.
But we'll see what they do with Cat.
Yeah, I mean a lot of people are photoshopping him in a Celtics jersey.
If he wants to play with Luka.
Play with Dallas is warm weather, no state taxes.
Exactly.
And okay, so last but not least, we have the Suns, who last time they were in the playoffs, 2009, 2010. Obviously, it was blurred down TNT.
That was the last Steve Nash year, right?
Yeah. One of the last was Steve Nash, Mark Stoudemire, Jay Rich, Leandro Barbosa. What was his freaking nickname?
I think Shawn Marion was gone by then. He was in Dallas by that time.
What was his nickname? Leandro Barbosa, the
Brazilian Blur.
Grant Hill was in his last couple of years. Channing Frye, and then
ended up Shaq.
Huh?
Did they bring Shaq that year?
I don't even remember.
Just so they thought he'd.
Induced. I don't even know what that was. It looked weird.
Yeah. Kobe put it into that.
Yeah, Kobe put it into
And then they were, in purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted Book at the end of the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And, for a couple years, I know Suns fans were hating the teams they were putting around him.
Mm-hmm. Or like Dario. Remember Dario?
No, they had Jimmer Fredette.
Oh, Jimmer Fredette.
Jimmer Fredette.
No, Dario was. That was one. Dragon Bender. That's who.
They missed a lot of picks.
They missed horrible picks.
Yeah.
Like Dragon Bender. Dude's not even.
Alex Len.
Yeah, just these picks that are very weird that Suns fans were like.
They had like 3 lottery centers on their roster at once. It was like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, and then they weren't developing at all.
Yeah.
And then they had remember the era, the Isaiah Thomas, Eric Bledsoe,
Gerald Green.
the Keefe brothers,
Yeah.
the Morris brothers were there at the same time. That was a horrible era. I looked at it.
They were just out there playing ball.
Felt like yesterday. And I saw the year, it was like 2014.
I could still see the Morris twins wearing that orange jersey.
It really felt like yesterday. It really felt like yesterday. Like Isaiah Thomas going crazy, Eric Bledsoe, and then like
Gerald Green catching hoops and hitting threes.
Yeah, it just felt like it was the weird thing about it that I felt is that all these teams before, like whenever they had, if they ever had a national television game, like maybe lucky, right?
Yeah.
You just saw it and you just felt like. It just felt like losers.
Even the lighting in the arena was bad.
I know,
it looked like a doctor's waiting room. There was no fans.
I know.
Fans were only there because they were giving out free jumbo jacks if they hit free throws.
Yeah, like it just felt like losing culture in there. Like it didn't feel like they had the right resources. Then you look at the arenas now and they're like well lit. They got new jerseys now.
Look at their atmosphere in these playoffs.
Yeah, like
crazy.
The Phoenix crowd is ridiculous now.
And then they sucked it up one last year in 17? And then they hit on Aiden.
Yeah, then they hit on Aiden, and then obviously
2018.
And then Bridges as well. Bridges was a draft pick as well. I mean, well, he traded on draft night from the Sixers. Yeah. And then Cam Johnson, obviously.
Yeah, people were mad about that Cam Johnson pick.
But it's working out well.
Yeah, like they got to realize, not everyone's going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
But if they just play their role the way their coach wants them to play, they'll be solid. And he's coming off the bench and doing his thing.
I think on TNT they were saying that Cam Johnson was like the best shooter of his class. Yeah. Best 3-point shooter of his class.
He's like 6'9", could shoot, play defense.
And then
the Chris Paul trade.
Yeah, that was the biggest trade in the last 10 years.
That's what really put him over the top. Like, without him, they were getting there.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris Paul just accelerated that process. Yeah. And they're going to be in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, because obviously you see with Devin Booker, like, he wasn't an empty calorie stats guy. Like, he Kobe'd the Lakers.
He just needed someone to kind of right the ship,
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was there, like, he can get his.
Mm-hmm.
They just needed that guy who can control the tempo of the game.
Yeah.
And just get him right.
Yeah, because the thing is with Booker, like, especially in the years that he was drafted, like, you saw a couple games where the dude could, like, will a team, but that would only last, like, 12 games? And then, like, he can only win them 12 games by himself, and then it's just the other team.
Yeah, he wasn't winning with 41-year-old Jamal
Crawford.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That Jamal Crawford.
The 40-year-old Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, like, no, bro. Like, he needed somebody.
Yeah.
So Chris Paul obviously accelerated the process.
Gael's going to love this one.
Gael's going to love this. So I don't know if you, speaking of Gael, I don't know if you know this, Gael, but the biggest offseason signing in the last 10 years was Jay Crowder.
Good for them. It's paying off.
It was paying off, but that's what I'm saying. Like, all these guys, like, I don't know if the listener now has gotten the rhythm. The rhythm. The pattern here, where it's player development, getting low contracts for guys that will probably never stay around for a while unless they develop as well, and one trade to bring in either a good point guard or a good role player. That's how it works. And then all the other ones you pick up on the way, where these little trades then, like, nobody cares about, that don't even make on Twitter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the trend, and that's basketball. Like, I love that, because I feel like, yes, you can have the Nets team, right, where you have 3 crazy superstars, and you have like an okay.
They still got to fill out the rest of that roster, and they've done a pretty good job at it.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job. Like, that is another, like, an example of like, oh, them, because like D'Lo and Jared Dudley, those Nets, they kind of set the culture. They're like, that was fun. I miss watching them. And like I got pissed when they traded Karras and Jared because I was like, they were really good. Like I feel like they could have they could have won more with just Kyrie, KD, Karras, and Jared.
But that really opened up the Bruce Brown to be who he is now, running power forward and doing pretty good job at it.
Power forward. Then you have Blake Griffin, who should be in handcuffs.
Yeah, they should. He should be in the back of a squad car.
Back of a squad car with Ben Wallace.
They gotta throw the key away, man. Yeah, when I saw him dunk on Giannis, I had to call 911.
Yeah, man. Like the dude he really finessed the Pistons, and I know everyone who's a Pistons fan is freaking angry. I'm angry.
Yeah, no, I'm not even a Pistons fan. I'm mad.
I'm angry. And then
Claxton.
Claxton was a Claxton. I was. The thing is with Claxton was
he's a G leaguer. And then Allen gets traded. They need some center depth.
And
they let him play some minutes, and now he's probably going to get a multi-year deal.
Yeah, because I remember seeing Claxton, or being told that Claxton was a baby KD. And was like, because the dude's long, the dude's like, he can shoot it or something, but I was like, the way they did him was a traditional big. Yeah. But I knew I was high on him before. I knew that, like, the dude would end up being something. And then looking out, so like obviously that's the pattern. I don't understand why these fans are like getting so angry with not seeing the Lakers, because a lot of the times it's like when you have these big stars, like it's just so easy to bandwagon when like they don't even look at like, okay,
I feel like this year's finals is gonna be like the lowest rated.
It's gonna be the lowest rated
because like the casual fans, they usually flock towards like the big markets.
Yeah,
they're gonna be rooting for the Nets.
It might be lower than the bubble finals.
If we get Utah, Milwaukee, oh man, no one's watching that.
No one's watching that except Utah and Milwaukee fans. But like
that shouldn't be the case. Like, just enjoy the game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because like we even saw it with the Lakers, where like, yeah, you have LeBron and AD, and then you pick up Schroeder, pick up Harold. Like when you look at that team on paper, I was like, there's no way nobody's beating them. But because like it's so big players and big names that like sometimes it just doesn't work, even if you have the best player ever, smartest player ever to play the sport in LeBron.
Yeah.
And like obviously it didn't help with injuries and stuff like that. But then you look at the roster. And it's like, okay, you spent all this money for Schroeder, LeBron, and AD. Then look at the rest of the team. The rest of the team, like...
They spent this money on Harold, he didn't even play.
He didn't even play.
Like, you could have used that money towards somewhere else. You could have brought Bryn Forbes in.
He didn't even play. And it was $18 million a year, right?
Yeah. He's gone.
$18 million a year. Or 64 to 3 years.
You could have used that money towards smaller role players.
Yeah, that could have been three, 4 guys on there that are better shooters.
You could have just resigned JaVale and Dwight.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah. Like, I don't understand why they didn't run back. But because they want big
They want
names.
The names. Yeah.
They want the names because the names bring in the money. But I don't know. Because that I was never a fan of. I feel like a good all-around team is one. Yeah. That's why the Spurs teams were so successful. Because, I mean... Ginobili, Duncan, and Parker. What were they? Drafted.
Yeah.
So and then you have good players around them, and then like some offseason signings that like okay they're good role players, they're gonna protect their players and all that stuff. And look, they won against Miami. So, I mean sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but like it's just the money management, the player development, and good draft picks, and that's the pattern that like I don't understand where these fans don't like it. But, so yeah, I think that'll be the end for this episode. So please, you guys, make sure you, again, subscribe and comment to our YouTube channel, the Basketball Operations Podcast. Once you search it, it's going to come up. Subscribe, leave a comment on what you want to see.
All that. Notifications.
Noties on, bells on, everything, please on. And then on our Twitter, again, we're going to leave the links for Spotify, Google Podcasts.
We'll put a link tree in there for you guys to click on, and it'll show all our links in one place.
Yeah, we'll leave the link tree there. And then so that we guys have all the possible links of where we are. So yeah, that'll be all for today.
Thanks, guys.
And, thank you for listening.
If you made it this far, I love you.
Yeah. Please, we really need the stream, so if you can, even if we're excruciating.
Just put it on as a white noise and you go to bed.
Go in the shower. Just as long as we get the streams, we'll really appreciate it. Okay, so that'll be all. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.
Appreciate it.